going on? Chris Ramsay here, welcome back. Hope you like that little intro I put together. Today I'm gonna talk about my 5 favorite color changes that I love using, whether it's in performance or whether it's just for me. These are just visual eye candy that I just love doing. As a move monkey myself, I'm fascinated with sleight of hand and I'm fascinated with color changes. There are so many out there, literally hundreds if not thousands of ways to change a card into another card. And today I'm just gonna share with you my top 5. We're gonna talk about the angles, we're gonna talk about the difficulty, and we're gonna talk about where you guys can learn them. Before I do that though, I just wanna say a quick word. I've put together some merchandise. Finally got my merch store up and running. Pretty stoked. This store will continuously be growing. I'm gonna add things to them, all sorts of things. But for right now, we've got a whole bunch of really cool sweatshirts, tees, hoodies, long sleeves in different colors with my logo. So if you guys wanna support this channel and you want some cool clothes to boot, hit up the link below, check out Teespring, and you can go ahead and check out those campaigns that I've put up. Also, if you picked one up, just go ahead and tag me on Instagram or on Twitter for a retweet. And remember, all contributions to Teespring go directly to me. It's a way of supporting this channel and a way of getting some cool swag. So yeah. All right, enough of that. Without further ado, let's get into my top 5 favorite color changes. Number 5. Now, this one is really difficult. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It's a very, very hard sleight. This sleight is actually called the Groove Electric Switch by Doc Doherty, and it is extremely difficult. Like, it requires a lot of sleight of hand. Angle sensitivity is very high. You first must control the card in a certain way. Then I like to incorporate something called the Techno Pop by Jack Carpenter. So you put them together, you get the Groove Electric Switch with a Techno Pop. Techno Pop Groove Electric Switch. I just love the way that sounds. So putting them together is a really cool thing. The pop-out card again is from Jack Carpenter, and this specific change switch is from Doc Doherty. Now it can be used also as a face-down switch, so it happens invisibly, or it can be used as a visual color change, both of which are extremely hard and extremely angly and not something I would normally do for a spectator. But again, these are my top 5 favorite color changes that I love doing, whether it's for camera or whether it's just for myself. So I hope you enjoyed number 5. Number 4 is something that I came up with. This is something that I've been playing with for a long time, a couple years, probably 4 or 5 years. It is the slip shift. Now, I released this on Dan and Dave, and if you want to check that out, you can hit up Art of Magic, where the download is there. My beard is way shorter than it is today, but that was one of my first contributions, my second contribution to the magic industry. It's something very cool because you can use it as a multiple change, which is pretty slick, and you can use it as a control as well. There are different applications for this. I've also come up with a weird way of doing it while spinning your hand. This, again, difficulty level is extreme. Probably the hardest sleight of hand move that I know. And literally in the world, I don't know of anyone else who can do this properly, including myself sometimes. So it's just one of those things that if you want to push yourself further and if you want to just practice something that's completely abstract and extremely difficult to get the muscle memory in your hands build up, this is a great thing to practice. Also, I actually came up with this while doing a flourish. So there was this cut that I was learning and I came up with the sort of pinky movement in here through the flourish, explored that a little bit and came up with this color change. Now again, you can use it to change 1 card or 2 or 3 or 4 or even 5. So it's a really fun thing to do. It's a bit of a knack. Okay, it's a lot of a knack, but it's extremely fun to do. That is slip shift, my number 4. Number 3 is definitely amazing because it is a visual color change. Now what I mean by a visual color change is that you can have color changes that are covered for an instant. Even if it's just for an instant, it's a hidden color change. But a color change that happens instantly without the card leaving your sight, now that's a really, really cool thing to do, especially if it doesn't make a sound and your hands aren't moving in funny ways. So this one really incorporates all of those. This is C3 by Nojima. He put out a DVD where you could learn different routines. So I've learned the oil and water routine, which is really cool because it's one of the only oil and waters that I know of which has a visual factor in it. So it's not just about dealing cards, but you actually see the moment the cards separate from red to black. can also use this as a card routine where the selected card gets lost in the deck, a card appears between the two, it is not the selection, and then with a wave, it changes into their selection. One of the really cool things about this as well is that you're left kind of clean. So after you do the change, you're into a Stuart Gordon double and it looks extremely clean. Now again, this can be used as a multiple color change, so it can change from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 cards. And one of the really cool things is that it barely makes a sound. It doesn't make a sound really. It's soundless, it's angle proof, there's barely any finger movement. So it's really hard for the mind to reconstruct how this color change was done. Level of difficulty, I would say at first, you're gonna get it. The first thing you do, you're gonna be like, oh, this is easy. But what's difficult about this is not the actual move, it's the consistency. So to be able to do this on the spot, on the first try every time, that's where it's gonna take a lot of practice. So at first, you're gonna look at it, you're gonna be like, oh, I got it, it's simple, right? Then you're gonna try it again, you'll be like, oh, I messed that one up a little bit. So this is one of those things that you gotta keep at in order to get consistent with. To be consistent takes a lot of practice, so I'd say the difficulty level starts low, but then ends high. It's a weird thing, but I love this color change so much. Number 2 is a change that is pretty unorthodox, not something I would normally use, but I love the mechanics of it. This is Twitch by Eric Samatis. Eric Samatis is a cardist. This was put out, I think probably like 4 or 5 years ago on Theory 11 as a download, and it's just a really cool, knacky, weird way of doing a color change. And when you look at the mechanics, you're thinking to yourself, well, how does this work? And I guarantee you, if you put the time in, it happens like a little twitch. There's like a little twitch happening, bam, and it's a visual color change. Extremely fast. There's a bit of a sound, but it doesn't really matter. You can hide that with a flick if you like, kind of like the snap change. Eric goes into teaching this, and he also teaches something really cool, which is a torn restored corner. So you tear off a corner of the card, and with a flick or a twitch, bam, it instantly restores in front of your eyes, and you can hand that out. So again, not something I would use on a day-to-day basis, but this isn't about that. This is about my favorite color changes. So the ones that are most satisfying to me, the ones that I love just doing for myself, or for the camera, or for friends, or most of the color changes that I've seen that magicians do aren't performed in the real world, like for spectators. Most of them are performed between friends and magicians, and that's part of what I love about sleight of hand and magic, is that it's just like kind of like self-gratifying sleight of hand stuff, which there's nothing wrong with that. And I love sharing my ideas with other magicians, and this is one of those that I just love performing to other magicians because it's something original they've probably never seen before. So that is number 2, Twitch by Eric Samatis. And my number 1 favorite color change, and again, this list is subject to change if something else comes up, but right now my favorite color change is the Rel change by Mike Brewer. Mike Brewer is incredibly talented with sleight of hand, super funny guy as well. His download available on Vanishing Ink. And by the way, I'll leave all of these links below so you guys can check them out for yourself and support the creators instead of, YouTubing some shit version of it. This color change is really cool because it's, again, one of those visual color changes that has minimum hand movement and no sound. It happens in an instant, and when done, I'll let you know, the angles are very sensitive. But once you learn this and you practice enough, and I use a camera a lot to practice this move, you will understand the angles. And once you understand the angles, you'll be confident enough to perform this. So I actually perform this to people. It gets great reactions because it's one of those things, again, that's unexplainable. You're left clean. It happens, boom, in an instant. They see the card and it, in a blink of an eye, transforms into another card, and there's nothing going on. There's no crazy hand movement. There's no weird gestures. It's just, you see the card here, bam, and it's another card, and it's instant. So it kind of looks like a gimmick, right? I love gimmickless magic that looks like it should be a gimmick. Another cool thing about this is that it can be used as a hidden color change, which is also a cool option. So you can go from having a card, showing it cleanly, showing the back of the card, and then showing the face, and now the face is changed again. And if you like, you can even have the back change. So you can have the face change, They look at the back, they look at the face, boom, the back's different, now the face is different, and it's a completely different card. And with some slick little sleight of hand, you can make it look completely invisible and clean. So Rel Change by Mike Brewer, my #1 favorite color change to use for so many reasons. It just looks so satisfying. And it is satisfying to do. When you nail it, you're just like, oh, oh, yes, please. So guys, that is my top 5 list of my top 5 favorite color changes. I'm really curious to know what color change you've been working on and what is your favorite color change. So let me know in the comments below what color change that you've been working on, that you've been trying to perfect, and what color change do you actually use on a day-to-day basis, and maybe what color change do you not use at all but you really love. So let me know below. Pardon me if I can't teach these, you know, I teach a lot of things on this channel, as you guys know, but there's some things that belong to either friends of mine or other creators in the industry, and I really want to support them as well, and I kind of want to use YouTube as a platform to be able to support these creators and myself. Support these guys, go ahead and buy the download. I guarantee you, you're paying more for just the method. You're paying for hundreds of hours of thinking behind this. You're paying for theory, you're paying for different applications and bonus routines and all sorts of things. So do me a favor and support them. Thanks guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace rock.